I'd like to welcome everyone to our meeting tonight, the Board of Directors meeting. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah. Do you still have the public input statement?
Let me look.
No pressure.
It's on colored paper.
Okay, Nancy has it.
Good.
Somebody want to read it?
I can read it.
The public input station.
The first public input session is a 21-minute session with each person having no longer than 3 minutes in which to make a statement. But a second public input session may be held at the end of the meeting if allowed by the board chair. Each speaker will give her name, address, and reason for speaking. Public input is designed for district residents, but the board chair may grant non-residents the opportunity to address the board. Statements concerning subject matter that falls under the law regarding executive sessions, for example, or matters involving personnel, cannot be made during public input. We as a community pledge to treat each other as we wish to be treated. We pledge to seek understanding when there may be disagreement. Regardless of outcomes or opinions, we pledge to move forward with respect. This is time for comments and/or questions for the board, but please be aware that questions may not be able to be answered at this meeting.
Do we have anyone for public input tonight? Going to the minutes of April 17th. Any corrections?
I sent Sue an email with such a thing. You guys want me to tell you what was addressed? In case anyone else had notes. It was the school calendar section. There was just a couple, there was a hanging sentence there that I gave her for blueprints instead of she. I just said to actually put in who it was from Jensen Blueprints. I filled in something about the bus driver appreciation, and what the district PTOs did for that, so I gave her that. I think she finished the sentence for public input from Ms. Whalen, and also there was a hanging sentence from what I said about the ending of timing with schools, and she fixed that.
Motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Second. Is that one? Yeah. Okay, all those in favor? And I am abstaining. Over here. Sure. We need to make a slight adjustment in our agenda tonight. Somebody would like to make the motion after number 4. If we could add school nutrition there.
Make a motion to add school nutrition.
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Okay. And we also would like to talk about possibly postponing our executive session tonight. Kate cannot be here because she is ill. She would really wanted to be here for that. So what is the feeling of the board?
I'd like to, I wasn't planning to come. I'm here because of that, so I'd like to leave as well. I have a health issue right now, so I would make a motion that we postpone that if the board is amenable.
Our next meeting is 15th?
The 15th.
Do it on the 15th instead. Anybody else have an opinion?
Motion, so we need a second.
I'll second.
Now can we discuss?
Yeah.
I just know, apologies. My feeling is we know that this is a multiple meeting process, right? And that, nothing is going to be concrete tonight. No decision is made. It just starts the process. And I would rather having, the experience that we went through, I would rather start the process and just know that's a start. And who knows in 2 weeks how any of us are going to be feeling. If I look at my students in my own classroom, there may be some meetings where we can't make. So I just recognition that I don't know that we'll all be here every single meeting. There's no guarantee, and I'd just like to start. That's my preference, and I'd encourage my fellow board members to start the process today as scheduled.
We have postponed meetings like this for our school board members who couldn't be present before. So it's kind of, I think probably we can push it to the 15th, and as long as we get it done by the end of June, we will be all set. That's just my opinion. So.
As I recall, last year, it wasn't done by the end of June. There was a problem, had to be pushed out beyond the end of June. It might be a good idea to at least start the process for those of us who haven't, well, at least not here today either, but just to know what it is. And
We're still, but this still is starting early, even if we do it 2 weeks from now.
right, so you're,
This is another option. We could look at May 8th. I know that's the budget hearing, but we could have a after that or prior to that.
how about prior to,
We could do prior to.
just so, maybe to get it started so that we have an idea. I'd like to know what it entails.
Be amenable to that. You too.
The hearing's at
6:30.
6:30. So like if we need at 5:30 or 5 or
5:30, probably.
Would be good.
does that sound agreeable to everybody?
Do we need to amend the motion? I don't recall what the motion said.
I could give a date. I just said postpone it, but I could say postpone till May 8th prior to the budget hearing.
You need to rescind. Both of you need to rescind.
No, she's just editing her motion. She just has to agree with it.
Yes, I agree.
That's done.
Okay, all those in favor? Okay, we'll do it next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we have our athletics recognition session.
You just got to press the button. You go.
Thank you, thank you for taking the time to let us present tonight. We do this, it seems like this is an ongoing thing for the past couple of years, which is a really good thing, right?
Yes, it is.
Second time this year that we've been able to do this, present really cool awards that we've won, state championships, regional runner-ups that we've won over the past couple of seasons, and the past winter was no different. So we've had an amazing winter season again in the Noble Athletic Department. Tonight with us, we have our boys basketball team, we have our wrestling program, we have our esports program standing behind me. We are a little light in numbers with athletes tonight. We have 11 athletes that play spring sports. We've got a 48% participation rate here at Noble High School for student athletes. So almost half of every single kid plays sport. So we are a little light in numbers, but I'm very thankful for the athletes that took the time and the coaches that took the time tonight. So I'm going to invite the coaches up here to just give a brief little spiel about the season and how it went and talk about their student athletes. Tonight we have with us for our boys basketball program, we have a volunteer assistant, Isaiah Connery, our wrestling coach, Pete Bronder, and my esports coach, Brian Gupta. And we will start with Mr. Connery.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Our head coach he runs our AU program at Saco, so he couldn't make it tonight, but he sent me down here instead. So hopefully I can give you guys an oversight of our season. But hello, everyone. I'd like to start by thanking everyone here for supporting Noble Boys basketball. We wouldn't have been able to accomplish everything we have without it. I'm extremely proud of this group of young men. They have embodied what it means to have class on and off the court. I've heard from numerous faculty members and business owners in the community about how well these guys carry themselves and how respectful they are. I think understanding the history of this program makes the accolades they have accomplished even more sweet. As far as this year goes. Here is the list of accomplishments as a team and for our individual players. We started off and went back to back, undefeated at home, so that's 18-0 in 2 years, so 9-0 in each season. We went back to back to the regional finals, so that's the first time that had ever been done in program history. We beat last year's record. We set the record last year with 16 wins in a season, and then we beat it this year with 18 wins. We were 18-3. We were the SMA regular season champs, so we got the most field points by scoring a lot of points and holding people to not a lot of points and beating some good opponents that we needed to get this year. Our individual accolades, we'll have 3 players playing at the college level next year. We had 2 all-academic team players. We had 1 all-state player, 1 conference player of the year, varsity player of the year, Max Prep's main player of the year. We had 2,000-point scorers. We had 1 defensive player of the year, 4 all-conference players, 1 all-defensive team player, 1 all-rookie team player, 2 McDonald's senior all-stars, and then 1 Mr. Maine basketball, and also Fitzpatrick Award winner, Jameer Rose. So,
And the Gatorade.
yeah, we've had 2 great seasons, and I got to play in one of them and coaching the other, so I'm super fortunate. And this district has supported us a ton, and I've helped with the youth now for like 5 years, and they're just building, and we're just continuing to try to build a good culture and do a good job. But thanks for taking our time to listen and have us up here tonight. Thank you.
Congratulations.
And just a little note on Jameer's Mr. Maine basketball. He did win the Fitzpatrick Award in the fall. And with his winning of the Mr. Maine basketball award, it's the first time any athlete in the state of Maine has ever won both awards in the same calendar year. So it's. And 2,000 scores in the same basketball season too is pretty amazing. Next up, I'd like to introduce our assistant wrestling coach, Pete Ronder. He will discuss the wrestling season.
I am going to apologize for not being as prepared as Coach Connery was. The accomplishments and feats that we reached to accomplish this year. But I first of all want to thank everyone in the building, the room, parents. The athletic department's been a very helpful role recently with Mr. Moore steering that ship. As far as our wrestling season goes, it's been one of the best that I've been a part of. I've been on the coaching staff for 11 years now, and this year was a worry-free year for us as far as performance goes, but also in student life and academics. We've been lucky in the past handful of years to really not have to worry about things outside of the wrestling room as much as it's a great reflection on our student athletes, but also the communities, the schools, the businesses around the support and come out to support us, like I said. But we did this year, we capped the season off with a regional title, a state tournament title, making it our 16th, ties us for the most in state history with the Sanford teams of the 60s, which it's like having through most overall state tournament, state championships. We won our second dual state. I believe it was our third dual state team championship. And we crowned 3 individual state champions this year, the New England Placer, as well as 2 women state champions and 2 women New England champions. So we had a very successful season. And I think that is very much due to the community support, allowing us to operate the way that we do operate. It's a long-standing
It's a legacy.
It's a legacy.
It's a legacy, yeah.
Yeah, it's a long-standing program and a legacy that's been cemented long before I was there. And we've been lucky enough to have the support from everyone involved and continue to carry that on. So thank you. Thank you all for being here. We look to do it again next year.
Yeah.
And next up, we have Coach Ryan Luter with our esports program.
All right, like Aaron said, my name is Ryan Hector, coach of esports. And over these past 2 seasons, I've been able to notice success in a lot of different ways. The first one, and I think the most proud I am, is we've seen a significant increase in terms of players. In the fall, we had a total of 18 roster players, and in the spring, it jumped to 25. So we're really happy about that. And for those of you that aren't familiar, esports, there are different kinds of esports. So I'm just going to kind of talk about each one and the success that they had. So the first one was our Super Smash Bros. Team. They had 2 really awesome seasons of top 3 placements in the MPA with an overall record of 17-4. Our Mario Kart team was able to compete above 500 in both seasons. And of course, our Rocket League team, building off a really good year last year, we actually got 2 state titles, making it 5 in a row. And just something else that's really interesting to point out, over the past 2 years alone, the Rocket League team has maintained a perfect 40-0 record. Fortunately for these guys, they have nationals coming up. If you remember from last year, they had a really good run where they placed in the top 8, and so we're hoping to improve upon that and win all. That would be a pretty awesome thing to do. But we'd like to thank athletics. Really, we'd like to thank Aaron for all that he does. We have some challenges with our program growing so much, and those challenges usually involve money. And it's really awesome that Aaron can get us whatever that we need, and that obviously send it to the school board, to the community. So I'd like to thank them as well. And finally, I'd like to thank the parents. Parents that are here tonight. We're here just very supportive of their players and letting them thrive and succeed and play at the highest level. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again. Thank you for taking the time. We can't do what we do as an athletic department, and I've said it once, I'll say it every single time I stand in front of you and I stand in front of parents. What we do really is dependent on our volunteer support, our parental support. I mean, we've got a booster organization for every single sport. We have 26 varsity programs, 42 sub-varsity programs between high school and middle school. We've got 8 to 10 parents that typically run each booster program. We've got parents that help out with volunteerism. They help out fundraising campaigns. We can't do what we do without the support of everyone in this room, everyone within the 3 communities that we have, without the coaches, volunteer coaches, and without the student athletes. So thank you all for your continued support, and hopefully we can do this more often. So,
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I know, right? Okay, great.
Up they go. Next up, I'd like David Vargas from School Nutrition to come up. Good news.
Still on, right?
Yes, it is.
Good evening, everybody. I'm out here with Andre Roy. Back in February, the Maine Department of Education put out a competition. It's called the Farm to School Cook-Off. It's something they've been doing for about 10 years now. And I saw it pop up on my email, and thanks to the help of Audra Sue and Principal before, they helped me connect with Andre Roy. Andre is an incredible human, first of all, but also a junior here and working towards becoming a chef. He's in the culinary arts program at SRTC as well. And we linked up together and put ourselves into the competition. It starts off being a regional competition in this area. In the end, we ended up going up against Ken Bunk and we won. And that brought us up to the finals. The competition has like extended out up to Fort Kent as well. So it covers pretty much the whole state of Maine, I would say. I guess it goes way up there. But we ended up going up to Augusta and competing in the state competition a couple weeks back on the 17th of April. And we brought home the state trophy.
Yeah.
So Andre and myself, the whole thing behind it was using two farm fresh product that they provided for breakfast was eggs, and for lunch was fish. And then we had to use the free USDA product to create recipes behind it and figure out how it would work into our lunch program as well. So Andre will tell you what we created. Do you mind if I hold this?
So for the breakfast part, we made a USDA pancake bake, which is basically USDA pancakes with local sausage, bacon and egg mixture. And we put it on top of peaches and we topped it with a hollandaise sauce and local basic syrup.
Yeah, and we actually been serving it at all the schools now as well, so.
Oh, wow.
Oh, good.
And then for the lunch, we made fish tacos, which is local mama fish.
Yeah, they changed the fish on us day of.
And then that was local tortillas with corn and mango salsa. And then we added a mango mousse, which is really good. And then our coleslaw that we made. Yeah.
And so you'll see those on the lunch menus next Tuesday at the middle school and at the high school as well, so.
We got a little preliminary taste.
So it was really cool and we're hoping to enter, Andre's here one more year, so we're hoping to enter it again.
Fantastic.
Defending champions. That's
Thank you
awesome.
all so much.
Awesome.
Yeah, great.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Okay, next up is school properties disposition, technology.
Such a jam racket, I would say. And at several of those kids and students, I was like, I feel like mama proud.
Right?
Amazing.
Right? So exciting.
Congratulations to all. So it's time for a little spring cleaning in the technology department. And I have just a statement regarding the policy. We're referring to policy, school policy BN, in which the school board is to be notified by the superintendent of any property declared surplus. So I think Audra shared a document, has a document to share with you. That lists the surplus devices and equipment to be sold, disposed of, or recycled. The devices have either reached end of life or being replaced according to our replacement cycle. These items include equipment purchased for remote learning that are no longer in demand or being used for in-person learning. Devices that are past their optimal use or devices that have been stored for new education. Now we have quite a lot of equipment that we backlog and we're ready to offload it and just looking for notifications forward.
Does this mean we can buy our own laptops?
Potentially, yes. I don't believe this crew is scheduled for this year. What color laptops? Gray, black. Gray, okay, yeah. Oh.
Okay.
So if you just, you can look at this, I'm just here to answer any questions.
Then you must need a vote for this.
I don't really know the protocol. This is my first time being in this situation.
This is just a notification.
Okay.
Like you have to notify the board that we're doing these things.
So I can better look at the process.
We just
Can you
have to
just
notify the board. Yeah.
Talk about the difference between the top and the bottom
Sure.
sections.
Yeah. I made a little note there, but the top are really the items we're confident we can resell and that would bring value back into the district. Really our Apple products, iPads, MacBooks, and a few Apple TVs. There's some there's, those are people have asked us about them, they're interested in them. We have vendors that we work with that reach out to us, they're like, hey, do you have devices to resell? And we kind of give them a spec of what we may be interested in. So those ones on the top are ones that we're confident we can sell. We can sell them at a higher price to our public. We look at like what's going on eBay really for resale prices.
Oh, there's two.
And then we kind of take those and sort of do a low average.
Right, Bridget, we're sorry. We're a little.
We did
There's two pages and we might have missed the 2
There's
pages.
just a few, we got one.
You only got one.
Oh, on the very
Are
bottom.
the different sizes?
Sorry. Oh,
Just missed the bottom section.
we're just
Okay,
on the board.
thank you.
Wait, so you guys don't have the first page? Do you have
I
extra
have the
first pages?
page.
There's actually in the page. Yeah,
And the short page.
We only have the short page.
Long page. We need 3 long pages.
Really just
So they
organized
just got,
tonight.
yeah,
There was-
sorry. It's- Yeah, yeah,
Been a
well,
long week.
been a long week.
Three. Three longs and short.
Now we know what to target.
And a short.
So the top light colored part, those are the devices we feel confident that we can resell. And what we've done for the recommended price is look at other third-party sellers, particularly on eBay or credit sites like that. And we take a low average that we would feel comfortable selling. And the policy says that we'll offer first to our districts, not district, well, the towns, officials in our district. So we'll reach out to North Berwick, Darwood, and Lebanon officials and see if they want to buy anything. But if they get first dibs, then we can go to staff and to the public. So we're confident that those upper items will at least mostly sell. We've reached out to vendors about the items below, and we've looked at how things are trending on resale sites, and the trends are low on the rest of it. So even though we have those recommended resale prices, we're not super confident that we would be able to sell them. And if we don't, then we would move to resell them. If not, we look to donate them or recycle them, or unfortunately toss them. Like we look at whatever the best processes are, and then ultimately we just need to not have them on our shelves anymore.
How,
Count as town officials that might want to buy one of the ones at top?
No, but you would definitely be under staff category, so yes.
Okay, cool.
how long do you hold on to devices? Like, how long does this process take?
We hope to have it wrapped up by June. Yeah.
By the end of June, beginning of June?
I would hope mid-June.
Okay.
The reason I try to get on the agenda as soon as possible after the budget was so that we can move into sale. That as soon as we go through this process, that next week I can read up the towns, and then the turnaround there will be pretty fast, and then we'll move quickly. As soon as close to the end of school we can wrap up, the better it is for our next device deployment, so.
And the funds that come in from this sale go where?
The general fund. They go into the general fund.
Does it count, is it go, it counts revenue for the district?
Count as revenue.
It's just a really revenue.
I'm just curious as to how we would see that.
And because we can't, it's not very easy to quantify, it doesn't go into the budget process as revenue.
Right.
Historically, you've used it for a like if something unexpected comes up in the department.
Kind of like our, I forget what it's called.
Fund balance.
Our fund balance.
So it stays within the tech, it stays within the tech category is what I'm.
Identified for
Yep.
tech, but it does go in the general fund.
Yep.
And yeah, and like last year, we had some server equipment fail, and we used that money to replace that. Occasionally Denise has asked us to apply it to budget, to reduce our budget, kind of like schools look at I forgot the name already, that fund, that's not the fund.
Anything reserve?
Yes.
So, just I guess clarity, because it sounds like there's a lot of interested parties. You reach out to, town, as you said, towns, and then is it district staff, district students and families, and then whatever's left over is open to then vendors?
Yeah, we haven't done a public sale in my recent memory, but one of my team members manages the process, and it will be set up that we could put it out to the public and be a basic social media blast, and then, these would be the steps that you follow to acquire a device. So just, it's a no warranty kind of situation.
Right, right, yeah, you get what you get and don't get upset, right? One of those things.
Just be careful about what we put out there for quality. You might notice Chromebooks are not recommended for resale. We can get a few dollars for them from a reseller, but if you put them out to the public, you're usually getting something that's My students.
In formatting, like the tech department formats them, or how does that before, yeah, the devices?
We just link them back to their factory state.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, but you guys do that.
Yeah. That's part of our taking process for that, for settlement to that. That's our more security procedures. Yeah, standard operating procedure for that.
Thank you.
We just have to vote to
Yeah.
approve the
It's
sale
just,
or just,
We are required to notify you that part of the house surplus that we're disposing of. It's posted on the purchase opportunity.
Thank you.
thank you, I'll be talking to you. Okay, let's see. Nomination of probationary teachers.
Every year, we, at this time, we go through our probationary teachers for our first year, moving to second year, and then second year, moving on to continuing contract. Jen had included that list of teachers for you to look at on the agenda. We don't have hard copies, and we do not read names out loud. We just approve as a group, that group. So again, and it's on the agenda, item number 6. We'll start with the probationary 1 list. So these are moving to probationary 2 for next year.
We just have a motion.
We just need a motion. Yeah.
I'll make a motion to move the probationary 1 teachers to probationary 2 for next year.
I'll second.
Any discussion, questions?
Just one question. I think I asked this last year. Any that we're not recommending going on to probationary 2 are just not on this list. They exist, they're just not on this list.
They exist, yeah.
I mean, it's always that, you get that question, oh, what, so everyone, it's like, no, not really, we just, yep.
Any other questions?
We need to vote.
All those in favor?
Okay.
Opposed? Yeah, Ally's raising her hand.
And
the
the
next one.
next group is probationary 2, moving to continuing contract.
I'll make a motion to take the probationary 2 teachers to move them to continuing contract teachers.
Second.
And just one same question, do we have any probationary 2s who are not moving on to continuing contract in the district? We do. Okay, thank you.
Oh, looks like,
Yes.
yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Just click that.
Gotcha. I'll get there, don't worry about it. Okay, the next list.
Need to vote.
You need to vote, yeah.
Nancy, we need you to call for the vote.
I was just given the,
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize. I was like. We're all waiting.
Under due diligence, right?
we have a,
And I'll just second it.
all those in favor of the second list? Opposed? Last one.
So it's the ratification of the support staff agreement. Jen also shared this with you as a document, so you could see the full contract. Do you have some further information?
What I'm handing out to you. Oh, sorry. Is. So one of the things that, Mr. Tabor had asked from us was some more specifics regarding percent increase and kind of an overview. So what I did was, I did an overview for everything. We're not going to touch the teachers tonight because we're not bringing that forward, but I just wanted to give you, and I'll add additional information when that actually comes forward. So what I am providing is the multi-year percentage increases for all of the contracts, detailed salary scales for each employee unit, complete benefit information, including insurance benefits, longevity, and additional monetary benefits negotiated for this year, and then, or for the coming years, and total salary cost projection that again would come for the teachers unit. Important notes about this. There are, some of this is not as easily put together as it is for the teacher salary. Salaries for the teachers is very clear and very easy, although to be perfectly honest, even that will be not fully accurate because of the adjustments in numbers of staff, et cetera. But for the hourly staff, it is virtually impossible to give you a total amount of increase over the last year. But that doesn't mean I didn't want to at least give you sort of a roundabout. So the roundabout figure, and I don't have that in here, but is for the support staff contract is approximately, well, I'm just going to give, it's $250,000 increase from this year to last. That is not actually written here. I'm just telling you that out loud. What I did want to show you was that on the next page, you'll see the transportation piece, which is something that Mr. Tabor had asked about just because you've already approved that contract. And that's the second page in that first set of documents. So it shows you the salary increase, overall percent increase per year over the 4 years or the 3 years that we have. What you need to note in transportation is that this contract is a 3-year contract, but it includes this year because they were without a contract. So we negotiated a 3-year contract, but it included this year. And then the longevity, we did not increase the longevity or change the longevity in any way. So there is no increase on top of what would be a typical. And the benefit increases were also, there was nothing different. So there is always an increase in benefits, unfortunately, due to the nature of insurance. But so there's that. And then below that is the details about longevity. So it tells you for the transportation crew what they are receiving for longevity benefits, if they've been in the district long enough, and then also what the board agrees to pay in terms of insurance. And then the other piece at the third, 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth paragraph down is that we had also included a perfect attendance bonus this year, which is new. And so that's additional funds that will be doled out over the coming year. After that, there is an actual, just the wage scale for your drivers and your mechanics so that you have that information. And then the next page of that is the actual cost of the insurance for our folks in the Teamsters. And we also continue our custodians on the same level for their medical payrolls, deductions. So that shows what we pay, and it also shows what the employee pays. So that's just good information for you to have. The next section is actually specific to our support staff. So on the second page, one side is the transportation, the other side is the detailed information about support staff on your very second page that I handed out. You might need to go back and flip to that.
Page 3.
Page 3, page 2. Page 2? Yeah, page 2. And so that is the total salary increases, percent increase over the top. The first year of the contract is a 5.1. The second is a 5.3. And the third is a 5.2. And again, these are several different, this is a compilation because our Ed Tech 1s, our Ed Tech 2s, our Ed Tech 3s all have a little bit different percentage increases because we had to get people from the minimum wage piece. There'd been the adjustment in the minimum wage. It had to be 1.25% versus minimum wage. So there's a little bit of wiggle there, but in all, the average overall increase is in that 5.1 the first year, 5.3, and then 5.2. And then underneath that, again, we did not change anything in our longevity. So the percent increases, there's, nothing. And then there's no change also in the benefit piece, except if you look at under insurance for our folks, we did increase In the first paragraph down, we did add an additional 1,100 per year for any employee enrolled in a family health plan because we only paid 95% single, which is, it's not tenable for folks if they really want to try to get insurance. It was not a working thing. But an extra additional $1,100 per month, per year is all that we were able to hand over, but they were appreciative of that. Then we also provide some dental, and then longevity is detailed out for you. And then we also have, we made one other change, which was an additional $40 a day for administrative, or if an administrator or supervisor assigns them to sub in a classroom to take over for a teacher and keep them away from their typical position in the building. We did agree to supplement an additional $40 for that day. So that is also, that is in addition to what we typically have done. So then I provided for you the salary or the hourly wages for our Ed Tech 1s, our Ed Tech 2s, 3s. And then on the back side of that is our secretarial crew, and then our school nutrition program folks, and our school nutrition managers, and then our bus aides. So you have all of the full information on that. And then the last two pieces of information are your year-round employees with their 24 equal pay, and then our school year employees for 19 pays for their payroll deductions for medical. So a lot of information, but I just wanted to make sure that we did provide a great idea that you can have it and can kind of do some costing if you need to. And then, so that actually brings us to the actual contract. We had a great, positive negotiation session. Josh was part of that. I think it went really well. And Nancy was there too. Yeah, sorry. Rick Ingalls is the president of the union, and he's been doing it a really long time, and he's very, very sane. And he helps, and he's a very reasonable guy. So I thought it went really well. So
A credit to Mr. Engel and the other two ladies who were with him. They were great to work with. Even when you had to have difficult conversations, they were not, it never became adversarial at all. It was like, how do we work together and find a solution that can work? So really a credit to them. I just, shout out to the whole support staff group for that and their work. Just one question about this. I know we don't have a longevity increase in both the transportation and the support staff agreement. You know what question I'm going to ask, right? Is that they get their longevity, but I don't know what amount when we apply longevity next year, what that costs in the contract. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. And I will get that for you, Josh. I'll send it to all of you guys. And because honestly, Mary Ellen wasn't here for me to say, because I went through all of this stuff over the week. Not to ask her.
Yeah, and I know like that might
actually, I'll look through. I might have it because I've had it in the past. So, but yeah.
I don't know whether it's easiest to give that as a percentage or if that's easiest to give a flat amount of how much is provided based on each.
Hard to, because of the fluctuation and changes in our staffing. I'm not sure. I've been figuring out the best way to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I understand there are gonna be changes and like in the hourlies, like, yes, all that still happens, but it's kind of when we say, like, if I just take the transportation contract and I'm just picking it because it's staring at me in the face. If we say, hey, it's a 4% increase, but that actually doesn't include the longevity payments that are made in addition. So it's greater than 4%. Does that make sense?
It does, except that, so I will push back and say, we're making those payments now. And so the percent increase probably won't change significantly because it's similar.
But their salary goes up the longevity each year. Like, just like, look, if you get a 4%, like 24, 25, they have 4% this year. Next year, it's 4% over what they're earning this year. Well, the longevity is in addition to what they're earning this year too.
Right.
So I want both of those increases, the increase, the hourly wage increase and the longevity increase. All of that is an increase in salary to an individual.
Okay.
Right? I mean, that is true, right? Both the salary, the hourly increase in salary and the longevity are both increases to a person's
Well, only every 5 years,
compensation.
whatever.
No, every year.
So.
But it's the same this year.
Oh, right.
for
I
the
can,
next 4
I,
years.
so I have, so let me look at this. I have it in front of me. So the increase in longevity for, I'm just looking to be sure I'm reading the right piece.
It's really okay if you follow up and give it another
Yeah,
time. And
but so for instance, the money increase for 26 is going to be 71,747.
that's longevity,
Mm-hmm.
71,000. Say it again, please, 71,000.
71,747.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And that's in the which contract?
That's for the drivers. That's the transportation one. And that would be, yeah, so let me put that into a document and share that with you that way. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep, sure. Okay.
So are we need to vote tonight on this?
We would like to, yeah.
Just a clarification. I know in our discussion, I'm on page 22, letter F. I'll give everyone a moment to get there.
Mhm.
In the contract.
Yes, please. Yep.
Right here.
22.
Page 22, letter F.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have educational technicians work in the self-contained classrooms, life skills and behavior programs within the special education program will receive, and it goes on. Is that clear enough? And I'm thinking 10 years from now, when people are looking at this, what that means in interpretation, is that clear enough? Like, so I understand we have life skills classrooms. I think life skills classrooms are life skills classrooms. Those are pretty cut and dry.
Mhm.
Behavior programs is not as cut and dry, and I'm wondering if that should be clarified. For instance, is the Mary Hart Academy considered a behavioral program?
So I understand what you're saying. So we've considered those to be
Lebanon.
we've considered the behavior programs to be mostly the ones specific, self-contained in the elementary schools. So not.
Does that need clarification for future years when people are looking at this and we're not looking at it? Because I know we talked about that being very specific, and I remember our conversation being like, it was these classrooms.
Right. Right.
And I just didn't see that.
Yeah, so, right. And we went over it with Rick
Yes, we did.
before, but even again, we've been through this again
Yep.
different times, but we can adjust it. I just want to make sure the change, because they went through it as with their own team and voted on this.
I know.
I don't want to change it, to be honest with you, but we can clarify it.
Can we add in, what is it, is it an addendum or something where you add that and that they would approve the addendum for clarification purposes?
If you look at the last sentence, which is specifically, I think, the most important piece, which is a list of employees receiving the bonus will be provided to the union at the start of the school year by October 1st. So that will be very specific.
I just,
As humans.
I just think it can come back, another, if it's not, Rick, it can be someone else who comes back and says, well, these are our behavior program, and that doesn't meet the intent of what we actually talked about.
I do believe that we put that sentence in order to address any interpretations for the future. You know what I'm saying? Because it has to, we have to give them a list in October, and they have to agree to it. So, but yes, we can talk to Rick about adding a sentence.
I just appreciate that clarification that life skills and behavior programs
Not,
presently in the elementary school, something along those lines that just seeks that clarification to state what it is.
We,
Self-contained at higher levels.
Yes.
yes, we do.
We need to state those. Something along those lines, because it just matches what we talked about, and I'll stop.
So we can do two things. We can approve and then go back to Rick and talk about an amendment. Or we could hold, have us talk to Rick, and then if you need, we can, it may make sense to do it that way in case we just want to add a sentence instead of then having to do an amendment.
vote on it at 8:15.
Right. Right. So I think,
Is the timing okay? It'll be all right, yeah. Okay. We want to table this, so.
Somebody want to make that motion?
I'll make the motion to table it, for said reasons to clarify, page 22F.
Second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Tabling it? Second.
Thank you.
Let's just scroll this back.
Yeah, you can keep the phones, those are for you, yeah.
Can I ask a quick question? So where they were not under a contract this current fiscal year?
Support staff were, transportation was not.
Okay, so they'll get retroactive pay?
The transportation?
Yes.
Yeah, we actually built it into the current contract. We had already, even though they didn't have a union representative, we have always treated them similarly and made sure that they maintained. So what we gave them as an increase is exactly what
On
we
here?
built in here. Yep.
Okay, so they're already getting it.
The only thing,
There's not going to be a retroactive.
the only retroactivity that will happen is we changed the timing of their longevity. So we'll address that in this, actually in the next week or two with our payroll. So everything else is taken care of. Yeah, but thank you for asking that.
Let's move on to employment.
okay, so we have some employment information. We have two new hires that we're bringing forward tonight for nomination. Both of them are interns here at Noble High School. We have Ashley Baker, who is we're bringing her forward for nomination for a math teacher. She's just receiving her master's degree at University of New Hampshire. She'll be graduating in May. And she has been doing an internship here, and she also took over some classes here when we had a teacher who was unable to continue. So that's Ashley.
Motion to approve.
Second. All those in favor? Okay. Next.
And the next one is Blake Bolduck. Blake is also, as I said, an intern here. He's been working with the team, working through English, and we're nominating him for writing for next year. He is also receiving his master's through UNH, and that will happen in May.
She's approved.
And I'll second it.
All those in favor? Okay.
And then we have a few resignations. We have Kristen Legier. She is a Noble High School math teacher. So we need a motion for that.
For each individual one?
Yes, we do.
I'll make a motion. Second. All those in favor?
And then William Hahn, who is currently a special education teacher at MHA.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Done. All those in favor?
And Alston Armstrong, currently North Berwick Elementary art teacher.
I'll make a motion.
And I'll second.
All those in favor?
Thank you. Like consistency is good for me. Thank you.
And then Kendra Freeton, Hanson School kindergarten teacher.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
It's not paying attention.
We received correspondence this afternoon, from said candidate. I don't have all my questions formulated, but I guess I'm wondering, is this a discussion item for future? Doesn't have to be tonight. I'm not prepared to discuss it tonight, but I'm sure as I sit and read it, I might have questions, and I'm wondering if it's appropriate to, at least consider it as an agenda item in the near future.
It'll be curriculum discussion, right? Or-
Yeah, we couldn't talk
Kindergarten.
specifically about.
Understood, yep. But that can be an agenda item in the near future. Thank you.
Did we get a second on
Do have a second.
Kendra? Okay, all those in favor? Superintendent update.
So we've had 2 open houses this week. We had one at Noble Middle School for our 5th and 6th graders, incoming 5th and 6th graders, and we had over 350 families.
Wow.
In
Awesome.
attendance for that. And last night we had the open house at Knowlton School, so for incoming 4th graders from the 3 towns. And again, that was over 300, families that were there for that. And, both of them have gone very well. The slides are going out, both the administrators from both buildings have done little short presentations. Those are being sent out or have already been sent out to families just so that they can have that information.
It's falling out.
The middle, okay, thank you. And then next week is the Noble High School. It's on the 6th and it is happening for incoming 6th and 7th graders. It's starting at 5 o'clock, going to 6 o'clock because at 6:30, there is a concert here. So we tried to intentionally have the concert, have the information session with the concert. So they will also have a presentation at that point in time. So, we really have appreciated the attendance that we've had from families. That last night, we know that like Lebanon was doing athletic pictures for all this, some of the spring athletics, but we had very strong attendance from Lebanon and, even in, the 5th and 6th grade building, it was very strong. So
We had good attendance from our board members.
yes, thank you.
I did have one parent contact me who could not attend.
Yes.
Is there some way, I don't know if they could get information or
Yes.
maybe
So the-
schedule a time with the principal or?
The information that was shared went out to families. So they have that information, but also there will be a move up day
Okay,
for students. And then the middle school is also having another, like a step up with families. So, yeah.
Can we have, I know I get some, because I'm a parent with kids and both of them, but can we have them shared with the whole board? Because I do feel like there was a lot of really useful information about the days and how things were going to look and programming that we as board members, I think will be really beneficial
Yeah,
for us and
information.
be able to share with people.
Thank you.
And let's see, the other thing is that we will likely be bringing at the May meeting, and you need to think about renaming the middle school. So we will be bringing some suggestions from the middle school, forward for you to make a decision. It is there's a lot that goes into a school name, and when you change the name, it impacts a lot and impacts technology and all of our reporting systems and through the state. So we just need to make that official. So we will bring that forward.
so will we be calling the 7th and 8th graders here, the middle school, or are they just?
That's some
part
of the
house?
discussion.
Okay.
I
The thought
believe,
process, though.
the thought process is definitely to make it very separate. So, yeah. But we do have some names.
Can't wait to hear them.
I can't wait. That's exciting. Okay, and then just one handout, we had this last year that went out pretty late not late, but prior to the budget hearing, and we were asked to present this again or just have this as a resource again. Just thinking you may want this for your budget book.
Is this a one page?
It is a one-pager. Thank you. So this was from the main DOE funding and the reports.
Oh my God, have a few lines.
I know.
Well,
So just pay
Yes,
attention.
yes. So the lines are busy, but if you also look down, you can see by school.
Yeah, but red and that,
Right, I know.
pretty similar.
Yes.
Remember,
Yeah.
we're down towards
The bottom.
the bottom.
So this is per pupil expenditures, which it excludes the debt service and then the transportation. And again, this was just something that came out last year and we were requesting, it was just a request to have it again, so.
You gotta
We're the
request
darkest.
these other orange.
Yes,
No.
yes, next year we'll set it up a little bit.
Orange,
Yes.
yellow.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you steal.
we're the darkest, right?
Yeah, with the dark red, yep.
Just, I would think, transportation has a significant impact on our budget that doesn't have on other people's budgets.
For sure.
Massive basic.
So I hate, like, this is,
Well, I mean, but this is like this,
Programming.
yeah, programming. So adding in the transportation will be an interesting.
We run pretty close to Massive Basic if you look at
We
it.
do, we do. Yep. And Sanford. Yep. And then we do have the document, that we will hand out right now that just does show the reconfiguration and some of the shifts with staffing and.
The one that we shared.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think so.
It's not specific to names of people or anything like that.
What I will say is that, after the budget vote on June 10th, that is when we formally bring names of the positions that have been ripped.
Yeah.
And we are not able to do that until the budget vote. And you will need to act on those at that point in time. So as you're looking at this, the pinkish color is teaching
I'll
staff.
say which I
The
am.
green are support staff. And
there's-
then the beige color.
There's only one of those on the backside.
Oh, Hampton, right? That's, that's administrative.
And so the other thing that you need to note is that anything that just is a number is a reduction. But
Anything-
if
say
you
that
get,
again?
if, so for instance, under, let me look at the first page. Let's turn it over to the second page. If you go to, Noble High School, you'll see that these are additional positions that had to be added in. And you have to think about that because that's a whole, brought up the seventh grade, so there's those positions. Everything else are the ones that are just normal numbers are reductions. The pluses are where we had to add back in.
And so if it's just a regular number, that's reduction.
Yeah.
If it's an
exactly.
addition, it's a plus.
Yeah, I know I should have used parentheses around that, but I didn't. At the bottom, it gives you a total on the back section of what it looks like for just specific reductions. And then there is a note if we were to not have the reconfiguration, the positions that would probably need to be added back in, if we had to go back to like the drawing board.
Did you discuss, because this has been brought up to me, about the whole band situation and the 100, 200 kids one teacher was going to have and all that? Has that been ironed out?
It has been ironed out in the sense that we've certainly talked about it, and that number of 200 was not accurate for what it's actually happening right now. So.
We don't have any retirements and things like that we have, and then how many of these weren't filled to start with, because obviously that's a really drastic number. So, how much of this is actual?
Bodies versus positions?
Yeah.
I don't think I can give you that completely, but for instance, at the high school level, there were multiple retirements. And so those positions were able to be shifted around so that the positions that were needed to be added were not people that had to be moved along. There's actually kind of minor movement in terms of the actual reduction in force, which is helpful. There were quite a few of our ed tech positions that were not filled. So those were we removed those positions. Yep. But that does not mean that we don't have some people impacted in a negative way. Yep.
Thank you.
Sure. And again, we could do a more thorough conversation after the June meeting.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So for clarity.
Mhm.
The board cannot be told how many persons are affected negatively by this chart. Like, this chart does not tell us that.
The chart does not tell us that. We,
Because we claim that we're saving 2.1 million for reconfiguration. And, you know, when we say staff numbers of 17.2 on a teacher contract, 13.5 support staff contract, right? When we say all those numbers, that would make me think, okay, there's the 2.1 million, but that's actually not, that's not accurate, or like, I'm confused. Like, I'm wondering, how do we explain the 2.1 million? Is it 2.1 million staff and benefits? And if it is, then we should know that, okay, well, if a staff member with salary and benefits is around 80,000, 2.1 million divided by 80,000, I don't know, I could pick out a calculator, would tell me that many positions, but that's not actually the truth. So I'm needing clarity.
I don't think there's not a truth. I think you're looking for more detailed information.
I just want, if we say it went down by 2.1 million, where did the 2.1 million come from?
So it's twofold. I think that my question was more, okay, we're looking at 17.2. How many of those retire? If those weren't reduced, we would be filling, like if it was, I'm just throwing out a number, this is not a real number. Let's say 10 people are retiring. So that was, now it's really 7.2 positions. Still stinks. The flip side would be if it didn't happen, we would then be filling 17, not just the 7. Does that make, is that what you're asking?
Of the 17, how many are retirements? Like, that should be able to be told how many retirements, right? How many positions that were not filled? And then we would know, okay, then our difference, like I understand that we can't know names. I understand that. I understand that we're not going to put out specific positions because then it's just giving the name. I get that. But overall,
So you want to know the number of retirements. How?
Of the
can we make-
positions that
I'm just trying to
yeah.
understand what you're looking for. So from this level,
Sure.
bring it down
Okay.
to more detailed levels. You want the retirements.
Yeah, so when we say, so we'll just take it by category, right? Makes it easy because then we can apply the category throughout, right? So if we're talking about the 17.2 teacher contract, how many of those are due to retirements? How many of those are because the position has never been filled? And how many of those are their position is being removed? Due to consolidation or
not.
due to not consolidation, just reducing the budget, right? I mean, trying to get the budget to be manageable, or we're changing how we're operating, right? Our programs or operations. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think, are there any staff members that you can think about that wouldn't fit one of those categories cleanly?
They would fit.
Okay.
Because I totaled 27 positions not filled. If I add that, 15.6 teachers, 9 support staff, 0.5 admin and 2 custodians.
On the front page, on the back page.
Right.
Okay.
We can do that by category, right? I'm assuming. Great. Okay. Thank you.
Is that it?
No, I think we have to go back up. We have one more resignation.
We missed it, sorry.
Sorry, we missed it. And it's not on this list.
Oh.
So Megan Talbot, who's currently in North Berwick, 2nd grade. So we just need a motion.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have a second.
Yeah, Elvin Peg. Yeah.
Okay. All those in favor?
Thank you. That's it.
Okay, any other? Other.
Have one. Just, there was a post on MSAD 60's website and with the red box that says Y at the top. Is that something that you put out, Audra?
We just have to put it out. Yep.
So you're aware of it?
Yes.
Okay, cool. At our last meeting, or maybe it wasn't our last meeting, it was one of our recent meetings. The question was asked, are we supposed to vote on this restructuring or not. And the discussion around that was, well, it's tied into the budget. They're the same thing. The budget is the restructuring. It's not. But then here it says a no vote doesn't preserve the current grade level structures. Like, it's either tied together or it's not tied together. And if it's not tied together, then can you help me understand that? I read that and I was like, wait, that's not what we talked about. It looks like that. I don't know if you want to see it.
Where'd you get it?
It was on Facebook under MS8060's Facebook account.
The intent of that document, there's some information that is going around that says if we vote no on the budget, that automatically means that the reconfiguration is off the table. That was not the intent. That's not the intent. So that document was created to be handed out at the open houses. We had it available for families that have questions, because the bottom line is the vote on the budget is about the money the money that's being allocated for the budget. That's the budget vote. It's not to vote in the reconfiguration or not the reconfiguration. It's the bottom line number of the vote, of the figure of the money. So that is what that document is attempting to say.
So we're restructuring the district without board approval?
We voted on the budget.
Voted on it.
Explanations and
Did the board approve it when Northborough fourth graders moved to Knowlton, or was that just needed to be done due to space and it was done?
That's part of the, exact part of the
Yes,
budget.
but it wasn't a vote on that specific,
Right,
yeah.
it's part of the budget.
Same with eighth grade when they came to the high school, so this isn't.
Right, correct.
It's not the same as closing a school that requires.
Right.
And I would suggest that if the budget does get voted down, this will all be looked at. I mean, that's the thing, right? It'll all be looked at.
I think that, I don't think, I don't know, I'm like,
Nancy?
I'm trying to do it. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question about this?
Mhm.
The special ed department?
Yes.
what page are you on?
I'm on page,
20.
thank you. I can't find it. 21. This confused me last year, confusing me this year, so we're gonna get sorted out. The IP coordinators, curriculum coordinators, we don't have any line, no money for them. Are they going to be paid out of?
They'll be paid out of local and
So they were, so how much of this budget is being paid out of local entitlement? Entitlement, do we know? The special ed budget?
I don't have the totals in front, like, I honestly don't have that in front of me, so but we can get that for you.
No.
Local entitlement grant is being written as because it gets approved, for July 1. So
Is that how it works always? It goes back and forth,
Yeah.
back and forth.
Yeah.
One year you
Yeah.
get a bunch, and the next year you don't. And
one of the things that we try really hard to do is not put, things in the local entitlement, but mostly specifically, we try to move staff into there. But at some levels, we also, so the conundrum about federal grants is that we pay more for benefits for people in federal grants than we would if they're in regular, because we have to match more for the state level for Maine State Retirement, that kind of thing. So we go back and forth. We're trying to figure that out. The other part of federal grants that are hard is that if you buy things, supplies are okay, things like that, but long-term, we don't buy technology, we don't buy things like that because you have to monitor you have to label them and you have to track them and you have to make sure. So we sit down with Denise every year to figure out, okay, what's the most effective use of those funds?
So can one assume there's been no cuts in the special ed budget that it's just coming from a different?
No, we reduced teaching positions, yep. And support staff, yep.
Can we get that?
Curriculum
You
coordinator.
do the grant? Can you define, just kind of explain which ones were deleted and which ones are now being paid by the entitlement fund? Thank you.
Don't shut that up.
Oh geez, I was being good.
You were going for it, Miles. Might it be, because, I've asked a lot about grants. since we're on the board, might it be wise to add a page to this book that grants, that just says what grants we are anticipating getting and how what categories those grants are impacting, and note it? Because $49 million budget is $49 million budget, but we're also getting several $100,000, maybe a few million, I don't really know, in grants. But that's not shown here, right? And so that be great. And whether we need to add another column that says, hey, paid by grant, or a little checkbox and then see the grant pay. I don't know, something along those lines, but that would bring some clarity to a number of questions I've had in the past.
Anybody else? Anybody others? It's another time for public input. Is there anyone who wants to make it?
I have a great deal, but I was for.
Thank you.
James Dupree from Lebanon. I'm just confused. It's probably that I'm just reading. I'm on this handout that you gave. And I'm running down the enrollment numbers, and it's probably just because I'm missing something with the reconfiguration. But if you look at Lead Elementary, in 425, we had grades 4 and 5, 135 students. And if I'm reading this right, the projected reconfiguration for next year, you would have had 3 kindergarten grade 3 with 135, and then it goes to 0 because they move to another school. All right, so far?
Hanson School.
Right. So my question is, if we go to Hanson School, where is the, Hanson School's on here. No, Hanson School.
Hanson School's at the top.
Lebanon
Yep.
Elementary.
The enrollment at Hanson School doesn't change. We had 135 students disappear. Where did they go?
They're moving to
Knowlton
the Knowlton School.
and middle school. Well, whatever we're gonna call it.
But the Knowlton numbers don't change. They're 201, 231, 234.
Right.
Where's the 133 Lebanon students go?
Some of them are going to the middle school, the current middle school. Some of them are going to Knowlton School. The numbers don't, the
Okay.
numbers,
If you look
the
at
numbers
that-
at Knowlton don't shift. It's very interesting. Those numbers remain what Knowlton looks like right now, very similarly.
Okay, so I was reading it right.
Yeah.
Right, and so where you find the extra children are actually at the high school.
Okay.
If you look at, yep, so there's 1,100 at, now, and there'll be 1,300. Yep, they shift.
Okay. I didn't carry it.
That's okay. It is confusing. Yep.
Yeah, it's confusing. Thanks.
Anybody else have public input? Okay, then. That means we're at number 12.
Thank you. Okay. We have a second? Okay.
Okay, all those in favor? So next week, 5:30.
5:30.
Next week.
Is that a discussion?
Okay.
Great, thank you, everybody.
Bye, Ally.